In the 21st century, it's been said that we fit in either an outgoing social group or a shy antisocial group.
I've pretty much completed every experience. They're all like tech demos, no like proper games.
But the reality isn't so simple. We have all been aligned these characteristics that define us as either an introvert or an extrovert.
I'm quite a shy person at first, and then when you get to know me I'm a bit more outgoing.
But we don't truly understand the levels of personality traits.
Surely it's good and bad in being extrovert or introvert, so I don't see why there should be a stigma.
These households contain no specific type of personal traits, but their way of living isn't seen usually. Today we will look into their lives and where they are on the Ambivert scale, a spectrum that clearly shows us who we are, whether we are an introvert, an extrovert, or even both. Ambivert. During a normal day in this household, we meet Ryan playing video games on his computer.
I'm Ryan O'Flaherty. Well, yeah, I used to go out all the time, but I don't really go much anymore. But I'm not really scared to talk to anyone about anything.
No, I'm not scared.
I just talk to anyone about anything I want, but only when I need to, really. Yeah, it's quite weird actually, I think. I don't really have people on the computer randomly. And if I do, I'd get annoyed with them messaging me. Yeah, I'd speak my mind if I felt like I had to or something. Or meet new people, I don't really mind doing that. Talking to people. But it does annoy me when loads of people start talking to you. When I was really little, Dad used to play games and things like that. And he always bought it before everyone else. I think it was Dad really, wasn't it? But yeah, computers as well, definitely. I think it's silly because there's too many people on planet Earth to narrow it down to two spectrums. There should be at least like, I don't know, there should be a lot, shouldn't there? Just two, like extrovert and introvert. Seems like there should be more. There's only two options, either outgoing or ingoing. Or if you're in the middle ground, or a little bit of one, a little bit of the other.
We now meet someone completely different, Ryan's mother, Janice.
Hi, I'm Janice O'Flaherty. I'm a teaching assistant at Brunswick House School for Year 1s. I like to fill my day up. I like to be busy all day. Normally. I like a little bit of a rest though. Yeah. I like to be busy most of the day. Sometimes I'll have a lazy time when I'll just get up and have some breakfast. That is my lazy day though. My lazy day is Sunday where I have breakfast, have lunch, do some ironing and a roast dinner. That's a lazy day to me.
Maybe I'm active because I was kept active when I was young, maybe my mum did lots with me. Don't really remember to be honest, but my mum's very active as well, so maybe I take after her. Yeah, I don't think you need to label anybody. Everyone's different at the end of the day, and everyone does their own thing, and everyone's got their own personality, and everyone is not the same. So it's not wrong or right, is it? It's just that you are different, everyone's different.
The real meaning behind introvert and extrovert comes from the Ambivert scale, made before the Second World War. This was not made to put people in one separate groups, but to show what type of level they are from personal traits. The meaning of introvert and extrovert has been depicted in different ways for a century. In the 1960s, psychologist Hans Eysenck had a theory that extroverts have a lower basic rate of stimulation. This means that extroverts need to work harder to stimulate their minds and bodies to the same state that introverts might reach much quicker. This leads extroverts to seek achievements and adventure, as well as yearn for the company of others. Now in the Park household, we meet Hannah.
My name's Hannah and I'm an introvert. I don't tend to show myself to others at first. I'm very shy, but when you get to know me I do tend to be a bit more confident and outgoing, so I do come across quite withdrawn and in myself when I first meet people. I tend to connect with other people because of our like shared interests and things like that. I like talking to people online, like over Facebook and things like that, but I do much prefer like one-to-one, going and getting a coffee somewhere quiet, or meeting up at each other's houses and just having a chat one-to-one with people as opposed to in big groups. I think an introvert is someone that gets their energy and recharges themselves by themselves, and they still can like be in big groups of people, but they prefer being on their own. I think that an extrovert is almost the opposite to an introvert in the sense of they feel better and recharge, if you want to call it that, in a group of people. So they prefer being social and they feel better when they've seen a big group of people, instead of an introvert feeling maybe a bit tired when they've seen a big group of people.
I wasn't really aware that there was a stigma. However, I think people sometimes think an introvert is being antisocial, so if you want to spend time by yourself, they're more likely to think that you just don't want to spend time with them, whereas it's perfectly acceptable for people to gather in large groups. I don't know, I think it's sort of frowned upon to want to be by yourself instead of hanging out with lots of people. But apart from that, I don't think there's much of a stigma.
To continue in the Park household, we now meet Alex, Hannah's boyfriend.
I'm Alex Jeffries and I class myself as an introvert. I tend to connect with people more on a one-to-one basis, and I think that's part of being an introvert. Whereas like if I was invited to like a big group gathering where I didn't know lots of people or something like that, I'd find that quite uncomfortable. And I think that's largely because I worry about maybe how I'm perceived by those people, whereas on a one-to-one basis it's a lot more manageable, and I find it hard to hold conversation and things like that. Whereas an only child, I spent a lot of my time kind of like in my room, like entertaining myself, like playing games or whatever, things like that. And I actually found like that to be sometimes a lot more like entertaining, comfortable than maybe being in a big group of people. So I think an extrovert is someone who is out and about, really outgoing, maybe quite outspoken as well, sometimes you tend to find. So they might have some really strong opinions or views, and they won't be afraid to voice those. And whereas maybe somebody more introverted would be a bit more mindful and maybe afraid to voice their views. So yeah, generally I think it's more to do with almost confidence in some ways. I think with all these, with both sides of the story, there's kind of like a bit of a balance. Nobody's specifically one or the other, and I think it's important that people realise that everybody has different aspects of those traits within them.
At the garden of the Park household, we now meet Karen, Hannah's mother.
Hi, my name's Karen. I think I'm an extrovert. If I'm panicking, I'll try and slow my thoughts down and take them and think about them logically and in proper order, so that I can deal with the situation. If it's a fun situation, I just go with the flow and just enjoy myself and don't really think about it because I'm enjoying myself. So I don't need as much control. An extrovert is someone who likes to be the centre of attention maybe, likes to be heard. So if there was a room full of people, they wouldn't be shy, they'd come up and talk to people and be quite social. Is there a stigma attached to being an extrovert?
Because I think the society that we live in nowadays, people are more accepting of the differences that we have, be it introvert or extrovert.
I don't see why there should be a stigma. Yeah, I suppose I'm described as an extrovert, so my introvertness is like now when I like to go walking on my own. I'm quite happy being on my own walking.
These lives are not only shown in physical households. But outside them, in the online community, you see them everywhere on the internet. Why do we focus on such specific definitions of personality traits when we can open a bigger spectrum and take away such strict labels? We can make introversion have a bigger voice and bring in the positives of sharing our unique ways of being wired in the world. We are the people of the 21st century, and with our current living situations, how can we work together to fully understand and appreciate the way we live, react and process everything? Of either being an introvert, an extrovert, or of course both, an ambivert.